Interesting. For ages and ages, I've not been able to go live, and I thought there was something wrong with my setup. And just occurred to me a few weeks ago that it's something to do with my terrible internet connection. And my house, my sons tend to eat up the internet connection with their various gaming activities. And once they're doing that, it becomes almost impossible to do anything connected to YouTube. By the same token, if I try and upload any videos whatsoever, it totally ties up the internet, and nobody else can get on. So it just occurred to me, I thought, why don't I wait until everybody's out of the house and then actually try and go live? And hey presto, it's worked. Bargain. So yeah, nobody's watching, I don't think. So I'm here on my own talking in a bubble. Yeah, I wasn't going to upload a video today, and I just thought this would be a good little alternative thing to do. Had an idea actually to show some of these 5-album CD box sets. These things. This is the Alice Cooper one. Original album series. Don't know how many years these have been around. I discovered them a few years back. I think this was the first one I ever got. Let me think whether this was actually the first one. I think this was the first one I bought. This is Earth, Wind and Fire. And it contains That's the Way of the World, Gratitude, Spirit, All in All, and I Am. Now, these are not going to be in the right order as I show them, because I'm absolutely terrible at putting things back in the right order, but I'll just flick through these so you can have a look at them. They're quite nice, aren't they? They're quite dinky. They're very compact. And, you know, the artwork, obviously, it's not as good having the artwork so small, but what these are good for, I guess, is just being able to check out an album, an artist's back catalogue without shelling out God knows how much cash on the albums. Now, with Earth, Wind and Fire, I do actually have most of these records on vinyl, and a while ago I considered getting rid of them because they're all big chunky gatefold albums and they take up so much shelf space. So I think part of the reason I bought that 5 CD box set was to maybe experiment with the idea of getting rid of the records. But then I was looking at them one day and they are such beautiful gatefolds. I just thought, you know what, I can't face getting rid of these. So I kept the records, and now I've got this as well. But it's still quite nice to have. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the first one I got, and I can't work out the order of these. I'll show the latest one I've got. This is the Alice Cooper one. I picked this up because of watching Jeff at Calico Silver, who is a big fan of Alice Cooper. Not a band or an artist that I've ever particularly checked out. I mean, I know the big hits. I've got a couple of their records. I've got Welcome to My Nightmare and School's Out on vinyl, but I've never particularly taken them very seriously, I guess. I just kind of saw them as this big dinosaur rock act from back in the 1970s. But Jeff talks about them so eloquently, and I just thought, yeah, maybe it's time to check these out. Now, this box set collects together, I think, the 1, 2, 3, yeah, he's counting them, the 5-album CD series, and he's counting them to see how many's in there. The first, I think it's the first 5 albums. I'm sorry about the light in here. The sun is right in my face. I can't do anything about it. This being the first album, Pretty's for You, which this is the only one I've listened to in this set so far. Bloody strange record. I did see Jeff's review. He did a good half-hour review of this record, and he kind of talked about the way that it was quite experimental. But I need to get my head around it, really. It's going to take a few listens. And then after that, you've got Easy Action. And then you've got Love It to Death. So I need to listen to these. Bob Ezrin, of course, the legendary rock producer. Then we've got Killer, which I think is meant to be one of his big classic albums, isn't it? And then we've got, of course, School's Out, which is nothing like as good as having the vinyl edition. I do have the school desk vinyl edition of that. So yeah, I have a date with Alice. I need to start checking out these records. One thing I will say about these little sets is that you know, it can feel like you're maxing out a little bit. It's, you know, it's one thing to buy a record or to buy a CD, but when you get one of these boxes with 5 albums in, it tends to almost start feeling a bit like a chore. You kind of think, oh God, I've got 5 Alice Cooper albums to get through. And I'm a little bit obsessive when it comes to listening to a record. I like to feel like I've got to know an album before I move on to the next one. So often it can take a long time to crack into these little sets. Right, this is another band whose records I've got. So I would have bought this probably just so I can listen to them in the office here and you know, get to know the records a bit better. This is Little Feat. And let's go through this one. So let's get these in the right order. I live in terror of discovering that this album's missing. So we've got the debut. And that's a great album. Strawberry Flats, of course, is on here. Willin', great kind of southern rock, you know. Then you've got Sailing Shoes, great cover. I've got a feeling I don't have this one on vinyl, but there's that. Then we've got Dixie Chicken, of course, which is one of them more poppy efforts, I guess you'd say. What's this one got on it? Dixie Chicken, of course. 2 Trains. Walking All Night. Fat Man in the Bathtub. Great stuff. Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Okay. Which has got the medley at the end of it. Cold, Cold, Cold and Triple Face Boogie. Great stuff. And then the last one in this set is the Last Record album, which features one of my favourite Little Feat songs, the last track on the album, Mercenary Territory. Fantastic. So there's your Little Feat. Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Okay. Cramming these back in, of course, is no joy. Right, let's speed up a little bit. I can't be on here for long, actually. I've got a few chores to do. Pretenders. And again, I've got all these records apart from the final one in the set, which is The Last of the Independents. Don't have that one on vinyl. So let me show you these. I mean, you've seen these records before, you know, it's not like showing you anything you haven't seen before, but let's see, get these in the right order. So the debut album, brilliant. Second album, brilliant. Learning to Crawl, brilliant. New lineup on that record, of course. Show Me, 2,000 Miles, Back on the Chain Gang. They don't make them like that anymore. Then we've got Get Close, which I think is Richard McCook's favourite. And then we've got Robbie McIntosh on the back. Latterly of Paul McCartney's band, of course. Oh, God, these are going to get shoved back in any old way. You can see that now. It'd be nice to be a more organised person, I often think. My collection is fairly well organised, you know, behind me. Everything's kind of half decent. I'm not like Alan, Static Traveller. Shoves them in any which way. There's an argument for that too, I guess. Right, this next one, my ongoing attempts to get to grips with jazz rock fusion. This is the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Still slightly on the fence with John McLaughlin. I find his guitar playing, I don't know, hard work sometimes, a bit strident, a bit, you know, he's one of those very overtly virtuosic guitarists, isn't he? I find some of his stuff a little bit difficult to listen to, but I have been enjoying this set. I've got a few of these on vinyl, not all. There's the debut, of course, The Inner Mounting Flame. I've got that one on LP. Birds of Fire, which I've also got on record. We've got Between Nothingness and Eternity, which sounds like it should be a book by Friedrich Nietzsche. We've got Apocalypse. Now, is this the one produced by George Martin? I think it is. I think it's the George Martin one. That got some very fiery playing on it. And then this one I need to spend a bit more time with. I haven't really spent much time with this one. Visions of the Emerald Beyond. So yeah, John McLaughlin, he's kind of, I'm still working on him, shall we say. There's other jazz rock fusion stuff which I'm more immediately drawn to. What's the Chick Corea album? The Romantic Warrior album. I find that a bit more listenable somehow. We got the Doobie Brothers. A bit on the fence with the Doobies. I like the first album, To Lose Street, and I like the later stuff when what's his name joins the group, Michael McDonald. I quite like all the yacht rock stuff, but the albums in between, I find them a little bit bland and forgettable. I don't know. I guess they're just one of those kind of radio rock bands, aren't they? Just sort of, you know, a pop band from back in the day. I don't find their stuff has particular resonance, really. To Lose Street, we've got, again, these are all totally out of order. Captain and Me, which I think is often viewed as their best one. This one I've got on vinyl. This is What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits, with the great shot on the back, or on the front actually, of the two drummers. We've got Stampede. Where's that gone? Stampede is the horseback one. And then we've got Taking It to the Streets. I've listened to all these records, you know, several times, but the songs, they don't stick in my mind. I tend to find I enjoy them when I'm listening to them, but I come away from them, you know, I look at the track list and I'm thinking, I can't remember any of those songs. So, yeah, the jury's out on them. Like I said, I do quite like the later stuff with Michael McDonald. Things like What a Fool Believes. You know, they're so immaculately done, those later records, even though they're a bit, you know, it's a bit yacht rock, isn't it, really? Suzanne Vega. An artist who, I had her first album, or I've got her first album on vinyl. I've had it for many, many years, many moons, and just thought it'd be nice to catch up with the rest of the catalogue. So I got into this box set, it would have been last summer. Really enjoyed it. Very interesting songwriter. That's the debut. Very literate, very poetic. These records are beautifully produced, very tasteful. That's Solitude Standing, which has Tom's Diner on it. That was her big hit, of course. We've got Days of Open Hand, which is a great track at the start, Tired of Sleeping, and a few other good ones on that. Book of Dreams is on there. 99.9 Fahrenheit, which is a bit of a departure. That one took her into more experimental directions, as you can see from the cover. And then 9 Objects of Desire. You know, with these sets, I don't always know if the albums are chronological or whether there's ones missed out in between. There's a couple of box sets that I've seen where I know there's albums missing from the set, so that makes me think that, you know, with some of these I might be getting a bit of a partial view of some of these artists. Back to a bit of jazz rock fusion again. I'm much more up the alleyway of this guy, J Neb. Hi Jeff. Wee hours on the West Coast. Yeah, it's 11:15 here in the morning. The sun is shining. I was just, I said, Jeff, before, I wasn't meant to be doing a video today. I thought I'd have a day off, but bit of work-related stress happened this morning, and I just, it's that thing where you suddenly think, I just want to talk about music for half an hour. So, just been showing these 5 CD box sets. You've missed most of them, Jeff. I've shown quite a few here now, but I'm on this one now anyway. Billy Cobham. I saw this guy live at the Leeds College of Music back in the day, and yeah, what a drummer. Truly amazing. Double bass drums, the whole kit and caboodle, just phenomenal. Now this set, I mean, the standard of musicianship on this record, it just blows your mind. It sounds like a machine, really. It's been programmed, you know, but it's these guys playing together. It just does my head in. Spectrum. And then we have got Total Eclipse. Then we've got Crosswinds. And then we've got a funky thide of sing. Don't try saying that after a few pints. And then we've got Shabazz. There is one negative thing about these 5 CD box sets, and that is, in a way, they defeat the object, because you buy them in order to stop yourself from buying the records. You think to yourself, well, it's going to cost me a lot of money to get these 5 Billy Cobham albums, either on reissues or on originals on vinyl. So what I'll do is I'll buy this 5 CD box set, original album series, so that I can listen to the music cheaply. I can tell myself that I own the records. I can put them on the shelf, job done. But of course, when you start looking at the artwork, like that, for example, you start thinking, by God, I bet that's a great album cover. You know, I mean, some of these are probably gatefolds. This one, fantastic album artwork. And it does sort of have the adverse effect on me, in the sense that I buy them and I think to myself, ooh, I'm going to have to try and track down that on vinyl. But I've been trying to be good, though. I've not been doing it. So, but we have these moments of weakness, don't we? So there's that one. There's 2 more to go. This next one, an artist that I've heard people talking about a lot. Now, I bought this because I entertained no hopes whatsoever of getting hold of the records. And then after I bought this set, within a couple of months, hey presto, I found a load of his records all together in the same place. I bought them. So I could have saved my cash, really. Michael Nesmith, from the Monkees, of course, one of the great pioneers of country rock in the 1970s. So I have most of these on vinyl now, which is a bit annoying. But this wasn't an expensive set or anything, so I guess it's not too bad. Right, where are we here with this now? So we've got Michael Nesmith and the First National Band and Magnetic South. Then we have Loose Salute. Then we have Nevada Fighter. His very strange concept album, Tantamount to Treason. Now that's an example of a record which you have to own on vinyl for the album art. Unfortunately, I do now. And the hits just keep on coming. I'm fairly certain there are gaps in that discography. And there's a couple of records of his that I have on vinyl, actually, which are not in this set. So anyway, Michael Nesmith, yeah, I'm still checking him out. There are some songs that I really like. There are some that wash over me a little bit. So I'll have to see how I get on with him in the long run. But certainly an interesting thing to listen to. And the final one, this guy, I've got most of his records on LP, so I don't know why I bought this. Again, it was maybe just to have in the car or have on the go. Oh, Stewart. Need to do a video on this guy. Been an Al Stewart fan for years and years, ever since I heard Year of the Cat on the radio back in the early 90s, and just really loved it. He's a bit of an underrated songwriter in a way, but by the same token, I can kind of understand why that is. His voice is very limited and his style is a bit repetitive, I guess, but he did some fantastic records, all those historical lyrical albums he did in the 1970s. There was nobody else doing anything remotely like it, really. And he had great musicians on his records, and they're always worth a spin. The debut, Bedsitter Images. These are the albums which just literally sold nothing. I mean, if you check out his chart placings back in the 70s, I mean, they just didn't even graze the charts at all. These early records, they're kind of one man and a guitar, folky, but not one finger in the ear folky, more like Bob Dylan folky. Interesting lyrical songs, and then Zero She Flies. Where are we here now? Like I said, I've got most of these on record. Now this is a set where they do skip out a few records, and they skip out a couple of fairly crucial ones, because in between Zero She Flies and Year of the Cat, he made a couple of records where he started doing the historical songs for the first time. So there is a big jump here. But then you've got Year of the Cat, which is, I think it was the first one he did with Alan Parsons. I could be mistaken. There might have been at least one before that was Alan Parsons. But this is when he went all soft rock and radio rock. Beautiful album, but it's a bit middle of the road, but I mean, that's the one that broke him big. And then Time Passages, which is another Alan Parsons one that was cut from the same cloth really as Year of the Cat. So that's another one where I've got them all on record anyway, but I just figured, what the hell. Right, okay, well, thanks for being with me, Jeff, and hope you're doing well. I'm pleased that I've managed to get back on doing these live things again, because I was convinced that I'd reached the end of the road and they weren't going to work anymore, but seems to have worked, so that's great. And I haven't spent too much time doing it, so I now need to get on with the rest of my day. So take care, anybody who's out there watching, and keep being very quiet if anybody is. And if it's just you, Jeff, I'll see you later. Take care, mate. Bye.